According to an ASI Institute corporate gifting survey, 42% of companies are rewarding their workers with a gift. So ASI is an amazing organization here in our industry. So let's go to the next slide. And Brian, maybe you can talk a little more about this.
Sure. So in a separate survey, about 70% of employees said that receiving a holiday gift from their employer made them want to work harder. And if you think about it, it really makes a lot of sense. It's a really stressful time for most people. You're planning activities for your family. And for most companies, it's the busiest time of year too. So it stands to reason that people really need to feel recognized and appreciated at that time. It's also a great time for gifting because simultaneously you're thanking people for putting in a great year of work, but at the same time kind of teeing up the next year as well and really motivating them to start off the next year on a good foot. So, during the pandemic, there's been an even bigger focus on merchandise as incentives. A lot of merchandise is being used in many cases in lieu of incentive travel. And with the shift to work from home, there's been a big emphasis on keeping employees productive and engaged. So some of the gifts that we see as being very popular at holiday time are gifts that cross all demographics and lifestyles. So we've got some great items from Bose, Hyper Ice, Corksicle, Briggs and Riley, and a lot of other brands that really hit on that work life and wellness balance. I think one of my favorites to recommend for people is the Bose Sport earbuds. They're a great gift for everybody because they can be used with any Bluetooth device. They're great for working out, listening to music, but you can also use them for conference calls. So they really do kind of cross that work-life balance.
Wonderful, wonderful. And according to this slide, workplace burnout is more common than you think. And in fact, in a recent Gallup survey, 23% of 7,500 full-time employees reported feeling a sense of burnout in their workplace. And another 44% reported feeling burned out on occasion. So another interesting stat here. What more can you tell us about that?
Sure. So, and Marlena touched on that quite a bit too. But if you think about it, and I'm not a math wizard, but basically 2/3 of your employees at one time or another are feeling some sense of burnout. And that can be a little bit alarming. But if you look at this slide, giving out personalized gifts on an annual or even more frequent basis can give your employees something to look forward to. 45% surveyed said that the experience made them feel more loyal to the company and more likely to want to work there longer. And according to the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, it costs over $4,000 to hire an employee. And it takes over 40 days on average to fill most positions. So high employee turnover, it's going to affect your bottom line. It's going to stress out your current employees because everybody has to take on a bigger workload. So recognition and gift giving to your employees is a tangible way to express thanks for their hard work. And one really fun and engaging way to deliver gifts to your employees is through an on-site gifting experience. Those are typically done at national sales meetings or incentive trips or big conferences, things like that. But we've done a lot of those at holiday parties as well. I remember we did one probably 3-4 years ago now. We had 1,600 attendees and we had to get them through in less than 1 hour. So we had 20 staff members on site. It was a big Bose program and it really went off without a hitch and everybody loved it. It's just a fun way to engage people and, everybody's going, oh, what did you get? What did you select? Why'd you pick this? So it's a good way for people to just talk with each other. And we've got some great brands that lend themselves to those types of programs. So, I've mentioned some of our bigger brands, but we also have brands like Kate Spade and Costa Sunglasses that make great gifting experiences. And we can always combine multiple brands to put together an experience that'll give your attendees really a lot of great choice.
Fantastic. And our next stat here says 81% of employees who responded say they feel appreciated when they receive gifts from their employer. I know I do.
Absolutely. Who doesn't, right? I want to know who those other 19% are. But I always say one size doesn't fit all, and you really want to try to move the middle. So, top performers are usually pretty regularly rewarded with incentive trips and big bonuses and things like that. Then you've got, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got your people who aren't really motivated or moved by anything. Doesn't mean they're bad employees. They're just going to do what they're going to do. But you've got about 60% or so in the middle that you can really motivate and move, with rewards and recognition. So sometimes, though, giving everyone the same gift isn't necessarily going to be a great fit. Marlena actually touched on it, how they put a little store together at holiday time last year. We've actually got a solution called the Platinum Gift Card, where we can create a custom program based on your budget to allow your participants to go online and select their own gift without there being a dollar value associated to the card. And that's an important part, or important point for me, is that there are no dollar values associated with any of the card programs we have. It's all about the gifting experience. And it's a really powerful way to recognize employees.
Wonderful. And it looks like those gift cards can be delivered electronically, or?
Yeah, we can either send physical cards, or we can deliver e-codes. And as you can see on the screen, when people open their email with the code, there's the envelope opening, which just gives it a little added touch.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so 55% of employees would choose to work for a socially responsible company, even if it means a lower salary. What can you tell us about this stat?
Yeah, so that was kind of surprising, and I think that it really just sort of indicates a generational change in the workforce. Many companies are putting a much stronger focus on social awareness and give back now, and a lot of it is driven by the employees. And if you look, a well-designed program can increase employee productivity by 13%, reduce turnover by 50%, and increase revenue by as much as 20%. And over the last couple of years, we've seen a huge increase in the amount of requests for programs like this. And we actually have recently launched a really cool program called Gift Boxes That Give. And in this program, a portion of proceeds from each gift box goes to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. It's a great cause that people can feel really good about, but at the same time, all of the recipients get a great gift with a themed award box, and it's in a really impressive presentation. And we've got themes for golf, the beach, fitness, the kitchen, happy hours. We kind of cover all the bases, and it's all for a great cause. And we can even set up a program through our virtual gifting platform where people can select their own box out of all the different themes that we have.
Okay, wonderful. Before I get much further, let's do our third poll here, which is when do you start planning for your holiday recognition programs? Brian, how far in advance do you start planning, or is your role with your employer for your holiday recognition programs?
So that's something that, we even talked about this when we were setting up this webinar, that it really needs to be done 6 months out at a minimum. And it depends on how extravagant it is. If it's a really big company party and you're going to have bands and catering and all of that, you really need to get out ahead of it. From the gifting standpoint, we typically like to say 3 to 6 months. This is a year where you may want to do it, pretty soon, because as most people I think know, there are big product shortages all over the world right now, and logistics issues and things like that. So you really want to get out ahead of it this year. Right.
And here's the results. It looks like I added a little extra choice there. I apologize for that. Holiday parties and events. That's not supposed to be in this poll, but it looks like there's a 25% split across 9 to 12 months prior, all the way down to 1 to 3 months prior. So pretty revealing there. So let's stop sharing those results and move to your next section here, which is let's talk about the cash trap. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, so that's the term that I use for it because it's easy. Everybody thinks their employees want cash as a holiday gift, and the employees even think that they want cash. They do want cash. Who doesn't want it? So this does kind of come as a surprise to most people. But while cash is what the employees want, it's a very ineffective way to create engagement and drive behavior. And it actually has several unintended consequences. And if you look here at the satisfaction ratings associated with reward type, merchandise is ahead of cash bonuses. Incentive trips are ahead of cash bonuses. Again, it's not that the employees necessarily don't want cash, but from an engagement standpoint, it just doesn't resonate quite as much. And, I said there's several unintended consequences. Look, cash bonuses are part of comp plans, and they should be. But when you're talking about a holiday gift, as soon as you give somebody cash, in their head, that automatically becomes part of their compensation. So every year moving forward, they're expecting that or more. And if they don't get it, they feel like they received a pay cut. The other issue with it is it goes into their bank account. And so it gets intermingled with their other money and, pays the groceries or the gas or whatever. And so then there's no intrinsic value to it. They're not getting that aspirational item that you would get with a merchandise program.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just, if you're finished, I was going to launch our last poll. I know we need to be cognizant of our time here, but is that okay?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So our last poll today is, from what product category would you most want to receive the holiday gift? And I think you can, I'm not sure if this is set up as a single answer or multiple choice, but there's audio gifts, of course. There's fashion and style gifts like sunglasses or jewelry or watches. Maybe a luggage gift like a backpack or a duffel for people that are getting back on the road. Recreation gifts so you can play in your backyard with your family, or even home goods kind of gifts, kitchenware or bakeware that you can use while you're cooking. Here come the results. We'll leave that open for about 30 more seconds. And just to let everybody know, we will have a little Q&A session here right at the end. I know we're bumping right up against the bottom of the hour, so we're going to leave this poll open for about 10 more seconds, look at the results, and then we will do a quick wrap up and open up for Q&A. So let's end the polling here and see what the results are. About 57% said some fashion or style gift. Is that surprising to you, Brian? Or?
A little bit. Typically, we see that electronics, usually just because it crosses so many demographics, it usually wins a poll like this. But yeah, I can understand that.
Okay, great. Well, I think we've got one more slide here for you, and then we're going to open up Q&A. Can you just give a quick summary of your presentation, please?
Yeah, I mean, just to talk about just real quickly some of the things that both Marlena and I touched on. Gifts from an employer can make teammates feel noticed and valued. Employees who are recognized perform better and they're more productive. And if you gift aspirational brands, it shows employees that they're really valued and appreciated. And, finally, I'd just like to say we represent some great brands, and we have a lot of really cool and creative ways to deliver gifts to your valued employees and partners. And as I mentioned, this year more than ever, I think, you really want to get out ahead of it and start planning that now, so that we can make sure that we can deliver a great experience for your participants.
Wonderful. And we do have the Q&A is open now. I don't see any questions in there, so I'm going to stop share here and ask Marlena to come back on. And Marlena, any thoughts here as you've watched Brian's presentation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it is definitely the time, if there was any, to really think about recognition and retention. We're seeing it ourselves. The market is picking back up. It's pretty hot. I'm constantly having conversations about how we retain our top talent and thinking about those engagement models. So if there is a way to use gifting as a way to really kind of engage your employees, and it's going to take you over, really kind of that next employer opportunity, I definitely encourage everybody to do so.
Well, thank you. And Brian, any closing thoughts from your side? There's still no questions coming in, which means you must have done a fantastic job.
I just want to say thank you to you and to Marlena. I thought there was she provided some really valuable content and some great information with the way that things are changing and evolving so quickly. It's great to hear her perspective, and hopefully if there's anything that we can do to help people to recognize their employees, we'd love to be able to help.
Wonderful. And for those of you that tuned in, thank you for joining today's webinar. We appreciate you tuning in. We're going to be doing these regularly over the course of the next months and years, so make sure to tune in for that. We hope you learned something. And as a thanks for joining for today, we are going to be having a drawing for a Bose SoundLink Revolve Bluetooth speaker, and we may even give away more than one. So if you joined us, we'll be having that drawing later today or tomorrow morning, and we will send you an email with the great news. And we are recording this webinar, so we will be posting it on the PIP Connect YouTube channel and in other places, and we'll send that out to everyone. So feel free to share with others if you have any people that you know that would benefit from this webinar. And lastly, please take just a few minutes to explore PIP Connect. It is a new community at pipconnect.net, and you can explore premium gift ideas, connect with others, and learn much more. You can even book an appointment with a gifting advisor to talk about your upcoming gifting needs, whether it's immediately or for the holidays or 2022 or beyond. So again, thanks to Marlena and Brian for being panelists this afternoon. And thank you all for tuning in and joining us. And I hope you have a productive and enjoyable rest of your week. With that concludes this webinar. Again, Brian and Marlena, thank you very much. And everybody have a great day.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye-bye.